Think it's gonna work. All right, we are finally live. That took forever. All right, so we are officially going to start here. Let's just fade this out. Okay, welcome everyone to another Wednesday morning miracle. Thank you for joining us here. If you are new on this and you're tuning in from anywhere on different platforms, or if you're here live with us, and it's great to have you. And the purpose of this call is that we are studying A Course in Miracles together. And A Course in Miracles is a book that you can find on Amazon. It's written by Helen Schuckman, although her name is never does not appear on the cover of the book. It is a book that was scribed and channeled through her. And the goal is for us to deepen our connection to, you can call it the higher version of ourselves. The Course calls it the Holy Spirit. And it uses a lot of Western languaging for us to communicate its message to us. So it'll use terms like Jesus, Holy Spirit, God, and but you can really replace those with whatever you want, with love, with universe, with any God, deity, or whatever that you want to put in there, because really the premise of the Course is to remember that we are whole and we are complete already. And the Course is very much knowing that since we are in this what the Course calls the dream world, and we live in separation, and there's a lot of fear and challenges and all of these things that show up for us, they seem to be real, but let's just call them illusions for now. And whether you believe it or not, or you have evidence that this dream world that we live in is more real than anything else, it's okay. Just by being here today, the invitation and the only ask is willingness. Willingness to see it a different way, willingness to allow something to download for you here. You don't have to find the answers today, right? Whatever you're looking for, all we really need is willingness, because willingness is that doorway, is the crack that allows spirit to enter and reinterpret for you. And so what that looks like often is we will have moments and experiences of anxiety. We will have moments and experiences of doubt, confusion, and we just ask to be shown, I'm willing to see it a different way. Like, not give me the answers for everything, but I'm willing. Show me a different way to look at it. And you can pray that to wherever you want, just as long as you are calling that forth and creating that space for yourself, to allow spirit to show you differently. And when you're in true, complete surrender to it, and just say, it's out of my control, it's out of my hands, show me a miracle, right? There are many things that have been big, great lessons for me this year that I got to practices on. So in the beginning of the year, to recap, my wife and I have had some challenges, and it's shown up in like separation. We're living in different places together, but we are in a very beautiful place, a beautiful unionship again right now. And it's funny and interesting because even though we are so loving and everything's going so well, right? Last night we had this call, and she's like, I've been doing our taxes. I've been working on our taxes, or your taxes, and it's just, I don't want to do this stuff. Right? I don't want to do this stuff. We need to have someone else do it, and I need someone to hold me accountable, and all these things just like piled up one after another. And then the doubt for her came to the business that she's starting, and the Queen's Code, and all of these like beautiful things. There's a huge demand for her work People are inviting her everywhere to speak, to do, to share and talk and coach. She's getting clients. Like, people are asking her to coach her, which is really, this is when you know you're in a space of creation, true creation, and your passion. When you're speaking about it, it's a passion, it's your own, you're working on it in your life, and people are calling you forth and wanting to pay you to coach them, right? This is when you're in your calling and things pull you to where you need to go, versus most of the times in our life, what we do is we have to actually push. We have to strive, we have to work, we have to focus. This is actually a very, in a lot of the old traditions, it's like the North, the North, my brother called it, he's like, this is the land of the eagle, where there's a lot of like pushing and structure and going after one thing or another and just strengthening ourselves through it, really pushing ourselves through things, through the discipline, through the practice, through the focus. And it's beautiful. We do that does serve us until it runs us into a wall, right? Until we burn out. And in the land of the South is the condor. And the condor is more of the heart, where you are following your heart and you're allowing things to unveil for you. And both of these are beautiful practices to put together in those traditions, in the Andean traditions. But, what the Course points for us is, yes, have all of these things and do all of these things, but there's one problem. There's one problem, and this one problem is, let's not call it a problem, because to the Holy Spirit it's an opportunity. But for us, the challenge comes from this thing that the Course calls the ego. And what the ego does is, the ego is based off of the idea that separation is real. Now, there are no greater evidence that separation is real than the bodies, than us being on the Zoom, and there is names and identifications with those names, and then the bodies that separate us. It's like, yeah, we are separate, Alex. But the Course points to something more. It's like, what if there was a frequency? And we know this to be true deep inside our hearts. And this is the thing that the Course points to, is this knowing. When we are around and when we hear the truth, we know it to be so. Man, only love is real. Like, okay, we can feel the truth in that. But what does that actually mean? Then our mind goes into this thinking, right? The heart knows, yeah, that's true. The heart knows that wholeness is inside, right? And when we talk about it, we realize, man, the what we're looking for is inside of us. Yes, and we literally, it becomes almost like a spiritual jargon at some point for us to just say things like this. What you're seeking is seeking you. What you're seeking is inside you. And so, yes, all of those things, right? And we're so drawn to those because a part of us knows that to be true. See, it's connected to the truth. It's not separate. But then there's the body that's separate. And then the ego uses the body, uses our relationships. This is what we talked about in the last call, is special relationships. Uses special relationships to reinforce the one thing that it needs, which is individual identification, which is really the identity of the ego. That's the only way that the ego stays relevant, stays alive, and continues to exist, is if we look towards ourselves for the answer. And the Course always invites us to look to Spirit, to God that actually knows the answer, and you are made in the image of God. You are made in the frequency of love. And so when we are not operating from that, this is when conflict, confusion, and doubt and all that stuff comes up, when we're not aligned to the truth. And so we all experience that, right? So there's moments in our day that we're just anxious, and then random things come up. There's no problem, so we create a problem. So the Course points to all of these things to help us recognize what is false, so that we may have moments. That's it. We're only looking for moments of truth. Moments where we go from confusion to clarity. Oh my God, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. I have an image in my mind constantly of my life, and my life looks like a funnel. It's like everything leading to just this moment. What is this moment calling for? What is this moment revealing and showing to me? And so I'm constantly showing up in that way, like, oh my God, all the challenges, all the investments that worked out, all the investments that didn't work out, all the relationships that are amazing and beautiful that love me and I love them, and then the relationships that somehow I have conflict with. It's like, what is all that about? And we bring it all together to this one moment, which is the only moment that is real. And this is what the Course helps us identify, is looking at all of those moments into this one single opportunity to choose love once again. And that's really that sums up the Course, is to find this, the holy instant. It's this instant of infinite potentiality, infinite possible outcomes, where there are no limits, no restrictions, no scarcity. And so today we're going to continue on chapter 16 on section 5, which is called the choice for completion. Right? So you are at choice. And this is actually next Wednesday, my brother David's going to come back on. It's going to be another East meets West call. But that one, we go back and forth on this. Is their choice. And so I think we are talking about the same thing. See, he says there are no choice. There is no free will. And the Course is talking about choice and free will. I'm writing a book called The Language of Peace. Because even in this thing right here, how do we look at unionship between these two? We express in words seems like complete opposites. There's no free will, and there is free will, there's choice. There is no choice, and there's choice. Two that seems to be complete opposites if we just look at it for what it is. And then when we look at it from a different place, if we can zoom out and see what we're actually saying, it's the same thing. And it's really just about the way that we perceive it. So we're going to dive deeper into that conversation next week. But today, for the sake of what we're studying and what we're teaching, what we're looking into, we're going to, this is a really great section called the choice for completion. The reason why there's a choice is because you really only have two choices. This is why I love the Course, because it's black or white. It's black or white. It's not black and or white. It's not black, gray, and a whole bunch of other things in the middle, and then black. Wait, black, a whole bunch of things, and then white. It's not that. There's just black or white. There's only the experience of fear and all the frequencies that are attached to fear. And then there is the frequency of love and all the things that are attached to that. See, love, this love with a capital L, or God, or the creation, is both. It encompasses everything. But for us, we are experiencing duality in this world. There are light and darkness, but we just need to find the right perspective that brings us in alignment so that we can experience truth. We're not going to be taught truth, because that's beyond what can be taught. We are going to be able to choose between the things that we put in the way so that we may have an opportunity to experience it. This experience, the purpose of the experience is to remind you of the little spark that you have left in you. See, some of us were lit up more, right? We're more connected. But guaranteed, as long as you're in this meat suit, this body, you're not complete in the way that the ego has it, right? Not like we're not complete because we still see the separation. There are parts of us that are still confused, and we will continue to draw and look into battles, because as long as you perceive yourself as a body, the ego persists and exists. There are fears, there are judgments, and that's going to come up. Now, the only practice, the Course says the way out, is give everything to the Holy Spirit and live every moment with new possibility. And be like, oh, yeah. So you begin to live with this childlike wonder and curiosity about everything. See, most of us, as we age, we forget that. That's why it's called childlike wonder. We have this cynicism and this know-it-all that shows up. Anything that is shared. Like, I've had multiple conversations in these last couple of days, including that conversation with my wife. I'm like, here, let me share a perspective, right? Let me share a perspective of, she's like, I don't want to do all the work that comes with starting a business. I just want to speak and share. I'm like, awesome. Well, I have a friend, her name is Janelle, and she's also like that. And she has a great business right now because she found a partner that likes doing that stuff. So perhaps that's the way. She's like, no, but that's not how I want to do it. I want people to, I want to find the right person. How do I even find the right person? So just continue to be right about our suffering. Like, we want to be continuing to be right about that. And I have another friend yesterday that I was talking to, and she's asking for support and help. And I'm like, okay, well, let me offer some perspective around that. And then the moment I share something, it's like, nope, this is the way it is. I already know. Like, as we get older, we go into this, I already know the answers. I already know why. I already know the answers. Okay, this is what the Course says. This is your choice to remain in stuckness. Remain in anxiety, remain in worry, remain in confusion. So if it's a choice, knowing that if I choose from this frequency of confusion and righteousness, that's only going to lead me to exactly what I'm feeling right now. See, that makes sense, right? The Course works with the ego's framework, but it's logic. So here's logic for us, is if you bring something to the table, or if you share something, that thing grows and more people know it, right? So it expands. Okay. And if you bring sadness to the table, then you will continue to experience sadness. Like, as long as you want to hold on to it. Rather, what the Course says is feelings are like clouds. Perceptions are just what they are. They're illusions. Not that because they didn't happen, but because they pass. It's like the cloud comes and it passes. And so the Course makes a distinction. That's an illusion. It comes, it passes, it can shift. A different cloud looks a different way. And then we're like, oh, that's what that is. And then nope, it passes and a different shape comes. So it keeps changing, but we're like, no, we want to hold on to that one. Remember the one that looks like a heart? That's what a cloud is. That's really what we're doing. Like, that's a cloud. All these other things that are passing, no, it's got to be that one. Right? We get so righteous about it, and in the righteousness is what creates this confusion. Versus, oh, look, there's a cloud. Cool, there it goes. And then, oh, look, there's no cloud. Awesome. Oh, there's another cloud. Awesome. We just let it pass. And knowing that this moment is filled with an infinite new possibility and new perspectives that can show up for us. Today I feel this way. Tomorrow I can have a whole different experience. Unless I don't want to, right? Unless I really want to hold on to that experience, then I bring yesterday into today and then experience the same thing. See, there's our choice. That's what the Course says. There's our choice. How long do you want to dwell in your pain and suffering? My brother David shared a mantra with me. It's oh God. Right when I'm about to recall it. Am ducum anaganum. Okay, so this actually says all suffering should be avoided. All suffering should be avoided. Now the ego's like, no. There's so much value in suffering. I came out on a brighter side. I came out better. I came out more awake. I came out clearer. The suffering could have produced that, or there's just this one moment that you chose to let the suffering go. See, that's the moment that's important, but what we focus on is the suffering, is the pain, is the things, the confusion and the anxieties and the worries. We choose those things as the catalyst, as the reason why we are the way we are today, or that we've had enlightenments, or we've learned something about ourselves and we become stronger because of those things. No, we became stronger because of the one moment that we chose differently. That's what made us stronger. Because if we didn't choose stronger, then we would still, if we didn't make that choice, that moment, the holy instant choice, then we would still be in that right now. We would still be in the pain, the suffering, and all of that right now. Yes? So it's actually not that. That's what the Course says. That past, that experience, great, you had it. So what? Now what? There's the thing that you focus on is the moment that you made a choice. So then, here we go again. I'm experiencing pain. I'm experiencing anxiety, worries, stress, scarcity. I'm experiencing those things. But guess what? If we focus on that one moment that we chose differently, here it is again. The Course says everything leads up to this moment. And if you are not having peace and you are not having joy, it means all of this is just for you to choose once again. And it's not a choice between a whole bunch of things. It's a choice between fear and love, between doubt and faith, between illusions and truth. And so I said 6 things right there, or 3 things, something like that. But they're the same thing. And this is A Course in Miracles. Miracles are a shift, is that moment that you shifted from fear to love. Your lens changed. It went from red to clear. It went from anger to clarity, to peace. All right, so this is what A Course in Miracles is. Really, the essence behind A Course in Miracles is literally this moment of choice. So I'm going to send this part to my brother David and be like, here you go. This is choice. Now you tell me what no choice means, which he did, it's actually really great too, because, he's like, well, every single action that you take right now stems from an experience that you had before. So you really don't have a choice. It's all based off of something else. There's a line that's already drawn. Makes sense. I will contemplate that more. And there's a part of me that sees no contradictions between what both of us are saying. Okay, well, I wanted to start with Marianne Williamson. And so, perfect. Day 242, may my eyes be open to the miracles around me. So we just talked about what miracles are. Okay, it's not that $1 million is going to land in my bank. Yes, maybe that's so, but that's not a miracle. A miracle is when you literally, that moment that you shifted from all this contraction and fear and stress and worries to trust. That's it. And I was on before I read this, let me just tangent one more time. I was on a call yesterday teaching about capital raising and teaching about deals that I did in the past. And I was like, there were so many deals where I just did not see the light at the end of the tunnel. There were so many moments that I was just like, we have 4 days left. We're $2 million short. This is it. We're done. Money's going to be lost here. And I remember there was a moment that I was laying face down on my kitchen floor. Like, there's no way. And somehow it closed. It happened. Now, I don't know what I did. I mean, I continued to push, but it couldn't be me that made all this happen. Right? And this is that if I look back, I'm like, man, in that moment when I was face down on the kitchen floor, like, if I knew what I know now, if I knew where I am now, if I knew the outcome already, then I wouldn't have all of that. So can I just trust, even if it didn't work out? Can I still look from a place of it will be taken care of? So the Course has a line that says, those who are certain of the outcome. So I'm not talking about just the outcome of that individual thing, because that one let's say we close the deal or we don't close the deal. That outcome itself is not what the Course is talking about. The outcome is you will be okay. We are all going to end up in heaven. We are going to all look back one day and be like, that was a great lesson. That was a great thing. One day we will see it clearly. That's what the Course says. The outcome is you will see it clearly and you will not be in the ego or pain at that point. It will be clarity. It will be a breath of fresh air. It will be the sigh of relief. One day, we're all there. So, those who are certain of the outcome can be patient and be patient without, what was the line? Without anxiety. So we can be patient. We're patient. We're patient knowing that we are certain of the outcome. Like somebody behaves this way, I don't need to judge him or her because I trust, right? That patience comes with a deep sense of trust that we all will awaken to the version that we're meant to be, that the same Spirit walks in me as he walks in others. All right, so may my eyes be open to the miracles around me. Every instant, the universe begins again. Perfect. This is exactly what we're talking about. Crazy. Every instant, the universe begins again. Miracles happen not in the past or the future, but now. Every moment, God is pouring forth his love with endless opportunities for renewal and rebirth. His voice proclaims eternally, here is the glory of the universe. Embrace it, for it is yours. May I not resist the beauty of life, the colors of nature, or the nuances of light. May I not be hardened to the fragility of the heart. The fragility of the heart. May I not abandon the field of miracles that is laid before me every moment of my day. All right, so this is a big one. May I not abandon the field of miracles that is laid before me every moment of my day. Dear God, open my eyes that I might see, and open my ears that I might hear the magnificence of everything. Open my mind that I might know, and open my heart that I might feel the radiance of everything. Open my soul that I might realize the miracle of you. Amen. So this is not Alex, open yourself, or Christine, open your mind, open your heart. This is God. Dear God, show me. We are asking for what we're asking for. See, last week we had we ended with a practice. Which is beautiful because I was able to turn that into a Instagram post, right? And I shared it with everybody here. It's just the practice was take your hardest and most difficult relationship or situation right now, and you ask, what am I demanding from this person or this thing in order for me to be at peace? We're gonna have this is gonna be the segue into our conversation today. What am I demanding from the other person in order to be at peace? Now ask, what if they're literally incapable of giving me what I'm demanding, because what I actually want, peace, wholeness, love, can only come from God. Then say, Holy Spirit, I release the name of this person from the job of completing me. I am willing to see them as you see them. And then it ends with, you don't have to believe this, just be willing. That willingness creates a crack where light can enter. So, this is the invitation to be willing today. All right. And we're going to read the choice for completion now. So I've kind of just tangented off and spoke for the last 35 minutes. I did a sermon about it. But now we're going to read from the Course, and let's see if we can open ourselves to the transmission that is about to happen here from God, Jesus, to Helen, from Helen to the writings in this book, and anybody else that that contributed to putting this together. Because I know when I read Helen's notes, it's a little less organized than what it looks like right here in the course that we're reading. So, the blessings, the blessings of every hand that touched to make this transmission happen here today. The words that were created. All right, so for a moment, let's just give ourselves this moment, right? This moment that there's a possibility for all things to show up for us. And we'll take just 3 breaths in, and as each breath that we take in and exhale out, we clear our minds a little bit more. Let's make space. Let's make space for the downloads to happen. So you can close your eyes if you choose so, but each breath that you take in, as you take in the breath, just imagine yourself like covering more of your mind's eye. And when you breathe out, just allow that to be released so that your mind, you can see space. You can see the space that is being created. And hello, if you're driving, you don't need to close your eyes. But just allow your mind to empty. Experience yourself when you breathe out to be pouring out and emptying all the noise that's in your mind, so that we can be open to the miracles that are right in front of us, right here, right now. And so whatever problem and challenges that exist, we're going to put that aside for a second, and we're going to just be in this place of complete giving and receiving. All right, knowing that as you download any message and information, you are healing your mind, and as you heal your mind, and none of us are separate, you are healing the mind of all. The Course says, how many people does it take to change the world? 1. Because there is no world. There is just what's in your mind that's happening. All right. The choice for completion. In looking at special relationships, it is necessary first to realize that it involves a great amount of pain. So let's just recap special relationships. So any relationships that have conditions, that is an exchange. It's a transaction, right? I'll make you feel safe if you make me feel safe. I'll love you if you love me. Right? It's like this. It's what the Course actually calls the Unholy Alliance. It's the ego aligning together, 2 egos aligning together to protect the illusion that separation is real. So this is really what special relationships are. And as we go into those things, obviously, we just continue to find what's wrong, because innately, when we search outside of ourselves for completion, it is implying that we are not complete inside. And when we aren't complete inside, what do? We project the incompletion outwards, and then we experience a world of incompletion. So it's a crazy, endless search. But if you just logically look at that, you're like, okay, I don't want that anymore. That's why the Course says we have to honestly evaluate the false illusions. But instead, what we do is we want to protect it and be right about our lack, or we want to protect our inadequacies, right? So, okay, let me stop and just read, okay? I'm going to just read and just allow yourselves to receive at this moment. So, it is necessary first to realize that it involves a great amount of pain. Anxiety, despair, guilt, and attack all enter into it, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone. All these must be understood for what they are. Whatever form they take, they are always an attack on the self to make the other guilty. I have spoken of this before, but there are some aspects of what is really being attempted that have not been touched upon. Oh, really? ACIM, you are going to share something that has not been touched upon. Okay, tell us. Very simply, the attempt to make guilty is always directed against God. For the ego will have you see him and him alone as guilty, leaving the sonship open to attack and unprotected from it. How could you, God? The special love relationship is the ego's chief weapon for keeping you from heaven. It does not appear to be a weapon, but if you consider how you value it and why, you will realize what it must be. The special love relationship is the ego's most boasted gift and one which has the most appeal to those unwilling to relinquish guilt. The dynamics of the ego are the clearest here, for counting on the attraction of this offering, that the fantasy that centers around it are often quite overt. Here, they are usually judged to be acceptable and even natural. No one considers it bizarre to love and hate together, and even those who believe that hate is sin merely feel guilty but do not correct it. This is the natural contradiction of the separation, and those who learn that it is not natural at all seems to be the unnatural ones. For this world is the opposite of heaven, being made to be its opposite, and everything here takes a direction exactly opposite of what is true. In heaven, where the meaning of love is known, love is the same as union. Here, the illusion of love is accepted in love's place. Love is perceived as separation and exclusion. This is this is really big here is what we actually think love is. This is the great deception. The ego has a great deception for us, is that instead of getting love, we are getting an illusion of love that actually reinforces separation. It's like, what the heck, ego? It is in the special relationship, born of the hidden wish for special love from God, that the ego's hatred triumphs. For the special relationship is the reunification of the love of God, and the attempt to secure for the self the specialness that he denied. It is essential to the preservation of the ego that you believe this specialness is not hell but heaven. For the ego would never have you see that separation could only be loss, being the one condition which heaven could not be. To everyone, heaven is completion. There is no disagreement on this, because both the ego and the Holy Spirit accepts it. They are, however, in complete disagreement on what completion is and how it is accomplished. The Holy Spirit knows that completion lies first in union and then in the extension of union. To the ego, completion lies in triumph and in the extension of the victory, even to triumph over God. In this, it seems the ultimate freedom of the self, for nothing that would remain to interfere with the ego. This is the idea. This is its idea of heaven. And therefore, union, which is condition in which the ego cannot interfere, must actually be hell. This special relationship is a strange and unnatural ego device for joining hell and heaven and making them indistinguishable. And the attempt to find the imagined best of both worlds has merely led to the fantasies of both and to the inability to perceive either as it is. The special relationship is the triumph of this confusion. It is a kind of union formed which union is excluded, and the basis for the attempt at union rests on exclusion. What best example could there be of the ego's maxim, seek but do not find? And that's all that we can, if we look at our lives, we are just seeking but not finding. Most curious of all the concept of the self which the ego fosters in the special relationship. This self seeks the relationship to make itself complete. Yet when it finds the special relationship in which it thinks it can accomplish this, it gives itself away and tries to trade itself for the self of another. This is not union, for there is no increase and no extension. Each partner tries to sacrifice the self he does not want for the one that he thinks he would prefer. And he feels guilty for the sin of taking and of giving nothing of value in return. How much value can he place upon a self that would give away to get a better one? The better self the ego seeks is always one that is more special. And whoever seems to possess a special self is love for what can be taken from him. They're both where both partners see this special self in each other, the ego sees a union made in heaven. For neither one will recognize that he asked what he asked for, that he has asked for hell, and so he will not interfere with the ego's illusion of heaven, which it offers him to interfere with heaven. Yet if all illusions are of fear, and they can be of nothing else, the illusion of heaven is nothing more than an attractive form of fear in which the guilt is buried deep and rises in the form of love. So, like, what is this part all saying? Is that when we get into a relationship with someone, this is the unholy alliance, two egos coming together, thinking that they are going to experience love. I want to feel the sense of love. But the illusion, the version of love that we are being sold to is, I will give you this piece of myself, you give me this piece of yourself, and together we will be whole. This is exactly what the ego does. That means you are not whole yourself already. So we create this special condition, this transaction that this version of me plus the version of you, now together we will be whole. And this, every single time we do that, what ends up happening is there is going to be loss. There's going to be the experience of loss because I am projecting my happiness as a condition to your behavior. I am projecting my sadness and anger and annoyance and inability to do the things that I want to do attached to you, who is, it's a condition. If you stop providing this, I will experience this. The more we do that, we give ourselves away and we begin to see this incomplete version of ourselves. And that goes full circle back to the initial teaching of A Course in Miracles, which is projection makes perception. That means it's not what I see in the world first, and then I experience this. It's actually, I have made a world in my mind already, and I am projecting outwards, and this is what I will see. So if there's insecurities or hatred, there's judgment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look out, and I'm going to judge others, and I'm going to experience, my lack of trust because of how they showed up. Well, I already projected that onto them first. So if projection makes perception, and what's real inside, I make this world and I see the world outside. That means everything outside is literally just a mirror and reflection back to the world that I have created. Okay, so stay with me here. I have created this. So in a relationship that you keep showing up as I am an incomplete version of myself, I keep giving my power, my happiness to situations and to other people, the world inside is now an incomplete, separated, lack version. So what ends up happening is I look upon out into the world that way, and I look upon my partner that way as well. This is your choice now. Now that you know, how will you look upon your partner? How will you look upon the situations that are showing up in front of you? And it's not that you need to figure out the answers, okay? If you go into, now that I got this new thing that Alex just shared with me, that the Course shared, I'm going to go and use it. No, because you created the confusion. The confused mind cannot go and fix the problem itself. You created the problem, so you are going to reinforce this problem. Okay, it's just going to keep happening. The only way out is to ask. Show me the way. My whole life purpose, my core life purpose is to deepen my faith, deepen my trust with the Holy Spirit, and through that, bring other people closer to God and remembering who they are. Not that here, take my confusion and you do something with it, or my projections, is It's just an invitation back to you ask Spirit. The one thing that connects us. I ask Spirit, so you ask Spirit. Don't ask me, right? If you ask me, my answer is always going to be go ask Spirit. And so this is what the courses invite us into is you have the guide. And so if I continue to do that, this is what's real in my world. What happens is now I look upon others like, there's your guide. I'm looking at the guide. I'm not looking at you anymore. I'm looking at the guide. So what the Course calls this practice is see Christ consciousness in your brothers and sisters. See the Christ consciousness that exists with them already. Right? Whatever way they are showing up, it's a call for love. It's a call for connection to Christ consciousness, to the light, to love, whatever you want to call it. But as I choose to see that in others, and I choose to see only that, it reinforces back in me, reflects back to me, oh, this is the world that I see. Awesome. Great. And then in places where I don't see it, God, show me. Again, bring the vision back that I don't see with my physical eyes, that I see with my spiritual sight instead. That I don't listen with my physical ears and I filter through my mind. Give me spiritual hearing. Let me hear the voice of the Holy Spirit instead. Okay. The appeal of hell lies only in the terrible attraction of guilt, which the ego holds out to those who place their faith in littleness. The conviction of littleness lies in every special relationship, for only the deprived could value specialness. The demand for specialness and that perception of the giving of specialness as an act of love would make love hateful. The real purpose of special relationship, in strict accordance with the ego's goals, is to destroy reality and substitute illusion. For the ego is itself an illusion, and only illusions can be the witness to its reality. If you perceive this special relationship as a triumph over God, would you want it? Let us not think of it as a fearful nature, nor the guilt it must entail, nor the sadness and the loneliness. For these are only attributes of the whole religion of separation, and the total context in which it is thought to occur. The central theme in its litany to sacrifice is that God must die so that you can live. And it is this theme that it acted out in the special relationship. Through the death of yourself, you think you can attack another self and snatch it from the other to replace the self that you despise. And you despise it because you do not think it offers the specialness you demand. And hating it, you have made it little and unworthy because you are afraid of it. Okay, I won't go on to a tangent. I'm just going to continue reading. How can you grant unlimited power to what you think you have attacked? So fearful has the truth become to you that unless it is weak and little and unworthy of value, you would not dare to look upon it. You think it is safer to endow the little self you made with power you wrested from truth, triumphing over it and leaving it helpless. See how exactly is this ritual enacted in the special relationship. An altar is erected in between two separate people on which one seeks to kill itself and on his body raise another self to take its power from his death. Over and over and over, this ritual is enacted, and it is never completed, nor ever will be completed. The ritual of completion cannot complete, for life arises not from death, nor heaven from hell. Whenever any form of special relationship tempts you to seek for love in ritual, remember love is content and not form of any kind. It was content and not form of any kind. So just distinction, form and content real quick. Content is the all that exists, the spirit, the essence of something. Form is what things look like. So let's call I'm going to use anger. Let's call anger the content. The form looks like the different things that show up throughout the day. It's the same thing, just showing up in different forms. Same thing as love. Love, and then everything else showing up in different forms. So what is always important is the content, the thing behind it. It's either fear is the content or love is the content. That's what's going on here. And then the form is just a bunch of different things that looks like a lot of different stuff is showing up. But no, it's just different forms of the same thing. Right? Different, like I have like 6 different relationships and they all lead to the same place. Well, the content was that you are looking, it's the special relationship, it's the fear, it's the incomplete version of you that you feel. And so the form looks like different person, different thing, different situation, different thing. But it's really all pointing back to that one initial, let's call it the initial mistake that gets to be corrected, right? It's just a mistake. The mistake in thought, I chose wrongly. Great, let me choose again. Not a bad and wrong thing, but that was just a wrong choice. So it's a mistake. I made a mistake. Instead of turning left, I turned right. I made a mistake. Now, if you turn right instead of left and you made a mistake, and now you start punishing yourself, and you start blaming the traffic light, the sign, you blame your phone, you blame the Google Maps because the maps has to do, it's like turning back and forth because it doesn't know where you are. Blame everything else. What we lost completely is, oh, I just made a mistake. Mistake? Great, let's correct it. I'm going to make a U-turn and go. Instead, what we do is we take the wrong turn, then we pull over and we just start cursing and blaming. And then somebody else passes and we're like, you're making a mistake. You shouldn't have gone here. Like, this is what we do. Instead of just like, let me just make another turn or let me U-turn it and just go back on track. Like, we just correct the mistake. We make it a sin. Now it's a sin and it's got to be punished. And anybody else now making right turns here is making the same sin, making the same thing. And we got to punish them too. And this is simply, if just put it in a simple metaphor, I guess, or symbol, that's all that's happening. Anything that happens in your life that doesn't bring you peace, it's a mistake to be corrected. Off you go. Make a U-turn. That's it. Stop overthinking it and don't bring the past into it. You made a mistake. Don't bring that mistake over and over and over into the present moment, because all that does is stop you from making the turn that you want to get back on track. So whenever any form of special relationship tempts you to seek for love, and okay, I already read that, great. The special relationship must be recognized for what it is, a senseless ritual in which strength is extracted from the death of God and even invested in his killer as a sign that form has triumphed over content and love has lost its meaning. What would you want this to be possible, even apart its evident impossibility? Like, would you even want this? If it were possible, you would have made yourself helpless. God is not angry. He merely could not let this happen. You cannot change his mind. No ritual that you have set up in which the chance of the dance of death delights you can bring death to the eternal. Nor can your chosen substitute for wholeness of God have any influence at all upon it. See, in special relationships, nothing more than a meaningless attempt to raise other gods before him, and by worshiping them to obscure their tininess and his greatness. In the name of your completion, you do not want this. For every idol that you have raised to place before him stands before you in the place of what you are. Salvation lies in the simple fact that illusions are not fearful because they are not true. They but seem to be fearful to the extent to which you fail to recognize them for what they are. And you will fail to do this to the extent to which you want them to be true. And to the same extent, you are denying truth and so are failing to make the simple choice between truth and illusion, God and fantasy. Remember this, and you will have no difficulty in perceiving the decision as just what it is and nothing more. The core of separation illusion lies simply in the fantasy of destruction of love's meaning. And unless love's meaning is restored to you, you cannot know yourself who share its meaning. Separation is the only decision not to know yourself. Okay, so this is a great distinction that the Course makes, is that separation, here's a definition of separation. Separation is the decision not to know yourself. This whole thought system is a carefully contrived learning experience designed to lead away from truth and into fantasy. Yet for every learning that will hurt you, God offers you correction and complete escape from all its consequences. The decision whether or not to listen to this course and follow it is but the choice between truth and illusion. For here is truth, separated from illusion and not confused with it at all. How simple does this choice become when it is perceived only as only what it is? For only fantasies make confusion in choosing possible, and they are totally unreal. This year is thus the time to make the easiest decision that ever confronted you, and also the only one. You will cross the bridge into reality simply because you will recognize that God is on the other side and nothing else at all is there. It is impossible not to make the natural decision as this is realized. So we just have one decision. That's it. We have one choice to make. That one choice is between reality and illusions. And so you have a choice for completion. And knowing that this is actually a really, really simple, easy choice if you saw everything correctly. When you look upon the other side of the bridge, the Course says, only God is there. You may see all the other illusions of things that you placed in front of you. But clarity comes from the choice and knowing that only God is on the other side. Now, the other metaphor example that it uses and that we use often is the altar. What's on the altar? We put all these things that the Course here just calls, they're false idols. False idols that you have placed your completion, the truth of who you are, into those things. Because as you experience incompletion, what you're looking for is things to complete you. Right? I need all of these things so that I can feel peace and happiness and contentment. The ego's like, yes, go there, do that. But there you go, and you do that, and then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to bring conflict again. Because in the experience of incompletion, you cannot feel complete with anything that's outside of you. Now, when you made the choice that you are already fully complete, whole, and extension of God, then everything else serves a different purpose. They serve the purpose of the only thing that you really want. You really want peace, wholeness, the experience of just, okay, I just fully trust. If that's what you're seeking, and if that's real for you inside, what you look upon everything else then becomes a reflection back to you where you lose your peace. Oh my God, I just got really angry with this person. But because you're complete and knowing that what you're looking for is places where you are still not experiencing that. So you're not looking as to blame anything else. But you're like, oh, thank you for showing me where I've forgotten. Thank you for reminding me. So that means anything that anybody or anything that can happen outside of you now becomes, oh, thank you for showing me. Right? This energy of blame and anger that can arise from one place all of a sudden becomes, wow, thank you so much. Because you're giving me and showing me what I actually really want. You're reminding me. That's a massive shift in our mind. That shifts. This is the shift from fear to love, from separation to unity, from hell to heaven. It's only in our perception, and that perception comes from what I make real inside me first. The decision, the choice for completion is I'm choosing that I am complete. I don't need anything outside of me. Can I rest in that? Now, if I rest in that, and that's real in this world, then what I look upon, now projection makes perception. I project out there, and this person, even in this moment, cuts me off, pisses me off, betrays me, steals from me, murders my family. Yes, I know. I go really, really far and extreme just to push the boundaries and know that it's all of that, even that, right? Can we get to a place? The enlightened mind, can we really be living now? Knowing that everything is a reflection back to me. And if they are reflecting to me to remind me what I really want, thank you so much. And you don't have to force this, right? Sometimes you might be like, no, I have to go and shift my perception. The moment that you can even be like, I think I'm supposed to thank this person for really betraying me. Spirit, can you show me how to do this? We are asked to do so little. We are asked just to have the willingness. Okay, your philosophies, your concepts, anything you learn from A Course in Miracles is not going to do shit for you. All it's going to do is create more judgment of, did I accomplish it? Did I not accomplish it? Wait, how come if I'm trying to be thankful, I'm not experiencing the peace? Because it's not yours to use. You are returning to a state. You're not creating the state. The state is already created. It already exists. The state of peace and love and flow and expansion and love multiple times, I guess. It already exists. You're not trying to figure it out to get there because you've already figured yourself out into the wrong place. So it's simply show me, right? I'm willing. I've opened a little crack in my righteousness, in my mind for you to show me. And then it is shown. It's guaranteed that it's going to be shown because that's all that there is. You just have to trust. And those that know the outcome, it's going to be shown, can be patient, and can be patient without anxiety. And that is the constant practice and reinforcement for us, right? As we're here, using all things and seeing them as they are. They are not my saviors. They do not belong on the altar. Okay, whatever, there's no way that that person can give me what I want. Because what I want does not come from the other person. What I want comes from God. So I will release this person even though I feel betrayed. This is the forgiveness. Here's forgiveness gives me everything I want. This is what the Course says. Forgiveness offers me everything I want. Forgiveness is you cannot add to me or take away from me. What I thought you did to me did not actually occur because I thought you did it, but what you actually did was reflected something back to me. Right? Christine on our last call was sharing about the soul, the two souls, making a contract, an agreement that I'm going to teach you forgiveness, but I might have to do something really bad. What I thought in this moment is that this soul and this person did something really bad to me. But what actually happened was we made an agreement so that I may remember two different perspectives, the perspective of the same thing. Those two different perspectives cannot exist in the same place. You either look upon this other soul as we made an agreement and thank you for showing me and thank you for honoring your agreement, or you are malicious and evil and you are doing this to me. Those two thought systems, perspectives, cannot coexist together. Only one can be true. And this is the choice that you have. The choice for completion is the choice for unionship, the choice for oneness. It cannot be anything else. And if you choose something else, then you have chosen what the Course says incorrectly. Not a big deal. choose incorrectly all you want, but there will be that one moment, right? This is that moment that we can live into is, oh, I finally decided to choose correctly. Okay. So really big sections here. The chapter 16 is called The Forgiveness of Illusions. So I love to open it up for thoughts. What's coming through for everybody here? What are you guys seeing, hearing? What's alive in the room right now?
I'll start.
Yeah.
So today I had a conversation with my friend Mona, who was saying that Paul realized that he shows up in the world trusting people. And so people, he, it's not always that he doesn't, people don't take advantage of that, but he continues to show up in love and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And so people tend to trust him. And she was talking about when she shows up in trust, how things seem to flow. And I didn't take it back to when we went through breakthrough until you started reading that exercise with trust. Because I remember before we started going around in the room doing a quick analysis, how do I do trust? Like, I never really thought that for myself. And I needed to do that so that I could go and talk to people. I trust you, I don't trust you. And it was really interesting. I have a dear friend who said, I don't trust anyone. And I thought, and so bringing this reading together with the conversation I had this morning and that conversation, I'm like, I get it. And it's and you have to choose it every single moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where I feel like I go in and out. It confuses me. Like I get glimpses of the truth and then I fall back to my habits. And so that you said something about being in this moment. Like every time I come back to this moment, I get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. This is like really helped me. And I know I'll forget a lot of this and then I'll remember it again in my next moments where so
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. One thing that you just said that actually brought another thought to me is we all know somebody that says I don't trust anyone. But what if I don't trust anyone actually means and I don't trust anyone and I trust everyone is actually the same thing? Think about that for a second. How could those things be the same thing? This is a book I'm writing. It's called The Language of Peace.
Okay. I'm you're frying a few of my neurons here.
Yeah, because from the space of separation, they're different, right? I don't trust anyone, or I don't trust anyone, and I trust everyone. Like, how can they be the same? Well, from the place of separation, I don't trust anyone because I don't trust the ego. I can say I don't trust the ego. Now, from the place of union and oneness, it's spirit. I trust everyone. I trust spirit, right? So all of a sudden, now it's the same thing. I don't trust the ego and I trust spirit. It's the same thing as I trust everyone and I don't trust anyone.
Wow.
I know. Wow,
Reminds me of
that just came to me as you were sharing that.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love that because it places it where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was listening to, I can't think of his name right now, but he said, because we talk a lot about it's either fear or love, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he said, what if it's all love? And I'm like, it can't all be love. Like if I'm angry, that doesn't feel like love. If I'm, whatever. But he said, what if it's all love? Takes me back to what I said on Sunday.
Yep.
All God created was love. He said, if the tyrant loves power so much the only way he sees he can gain the power is by standing on the shoulders of his people, it is love. It's love of power. So we just have to be aware of what we love. And and I thought, wow, it is all love. I'm angry because, and so this special love makes sense of it's all love, because when we are conditionally loving, then we get into the story of what it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it is all love. Like I love this thing, and the only way I can see to get it is to steal it. It's still love. It's just misplaced, right?
Yeah. So that's how the course opens up, right? The course opens up as the opposite of love is fear, but what is all encompassing can have no opposites. So we are examining the opposites just to see their illusions, to see the illusion that there are opposites. Just like what we said, I trust everyone and I don't trust everyone. One is from the perception of the ego of fear that everyone is separate, so I don't trust anyone. But when you say I trust everyone, you're saying, oh, we are all connected, including myself. There's only one, so I trust myself and I trust spirit, which is the reminder of unionship and oneness. Now, that looks like two separate things, right? But really, one of them is an illusion. It doesn't even exist. And there is one truth behind it, which is we are all united in that. So from the mind of oneness, we are complete and whole. There can be nothing else. So from that place, it's love is only. Now, one more way of looking at it is the Course says everything is either love or a call for love. So just like you were sharing, it's like, I love something else, and that's why I feel like I have to steal it. Well, that's a call for love. So a calling for love is still love. The content is love, right? The form just looks like I'm stealing it or I'm practicing love. Like they're the same thing. One is either it's just love, you're in the space of love, or you're calling for love. Great. Both points back to the only one thing that exists is love. So, yes.
Reminds me of the idea that the light, but to experience the light, because it reminds me of that which we want to experience. We need the dark to go, oh, that's what light is, because otherwise it's just what is it always is. So when we step into the dark, we remember what the light was, and we're drawn back to that.
Yeah. So one time we do that. If you have one time in which you're like, oh, now I know what light is. Okay, I experienced dark and I experienced light. So now I know the two different. I'm like, okay, that's light. How many times do you have to be in the dark to know what the light is?
As many times as it takes.
Yeah, but this is what the Course says. Okay, great. It's as many times as you think it takes, but if you remember it, then you can always look upon things with the remembrance of light, because that is who you are, right? So all of a sudden, when you walk everywhere as the light, could there possibly even be any darkness anymore? Everywhere you walk, it's just light. It's just Christ consciousness. It's the possibilities, the lessons, it's the opportunities, the reminder, it's the mirrors. Everything that was dark now has become a mirror to the light. Now, oh, there's more light. Oh, there's more light. It's all I can see. But when I start to see everyone as a mirror, is that they have to be light, because I am a giant light bulb walking around. Right? So then I see it, because I'm a light, I can only see everything as mirrors. You know, I got called on, I got a chance to go on stage in this magic show. And it's so funny because you're on stage and you look out to the whole audience. You can't see anybody because the lights are so bright. It's just shining onto you, you know? And it's like, all right, well, if there's just light, I can't even see anything that's dark, you know? So as I was sitting on stage trying to figure out how this magician was doing things, I'm sitting right next to him and the lights are on me. I'm thinking about A Course in Miracles. And so it's funny. Okay, we still got a little bit of time. Who else would like to share something here today? Remember we have a choice for completion today. Choice to remember oneness.
I'll share.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good that Christine brought that up, and I was still thinking about what Christine had said on Sunday. Um, the soul, and I actually I've never read that book, and I started reading through it. And it was like, even though it's coming from like talking to like a little person, um, just remembering like that innocence and having like those questions as a kid, like even not necessarily to that extent, but um, remembering like how important it is to how other people show up in our lives, and trying to see like, you know from what she said, and maybe I'm taking this, maybe it's out of context, but like somebody showing up that's just like, angry or doing something bad, like, you know loving that person for them taking on that role that I not to. um and kind of going back to the trusting that she said, um not being, before, like, that was the same, like I don't trust anybody. And through this transformational period and whatnot, like it's really like I didn't trust myself, like my perception of that person. And now it's like, even if something does show up in my life where I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's like what's going on here. This is like a mirror of my judgment on this person. And being in the treatment space that I'm in, I see some people that come in like just really broken and mentally unstable,
Hmm.
and uh, see like they're like the darkness inside of them, and I'm like, I can be with this person and just talk to them, or if anything, like they just see like, how are you so happy all the time? And um, I said, I choose to be. I choose not to see what's going on. There's plenty of things I can focus on that are not that I could really take me into a dark place. But trusting like that, there's something better coming, and as long as I keep planting these seeds in my mind, in my garden, and then of things that are good to come, that it's inevitable. Like it's just going to happen. And as long as I stay in that space and feel like I'm going in the right direction, then that's the trust. Like that's the faith. And you know, it's kind of like, when you plant a seed in the ground and you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You just trust that it's going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, and it starts growing, and it just takes time. It's for us, at least for me, I want things instantaneously, and it's not that way. Like it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, exactly how it's supposed to happen every time.
Yep.
And trusting that, um, it's easier for me to trust things now. I mean, I shouldn't say easy, but I can look at a situation and say, oh, this is exactly what it's supposed to be, or this is showing me a part of myself that, I need to work on, or, whatnot. And I thank you for this space every week. It's awesome. And parallels like you and Chris, like it's so funny. Like it's just great, like to have
Next Sunday,
similar takes on a lot of things.
next Wednesday is David East meets West. Next Sunday it will be the part 2 of the Arc of Awakening that Chris and I will do together.
This coming Sunday.
Next one.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap up, yeah, thank you for your share. And as we wrap up our call here today, there is a line in A Course in Miracles that says completion is not something that you find, it's something that you accept. Right? So the course, you don't need to do anything. You need do nothing except not to interfere. This is not to take this teaching and go do things. This is, let me just accept what is. Let me accept it. So it says that you must, in order for the ego to survive, you must first be told that you are not, in order for you to make the choice for completion, you must first be told that you are not incomplete. Then you must learn that you cannot complete yourself. So right now the calling and what the Course reminds us is you are not incomplete. And then the second part is you cannot complete yourself. So don't take any of this and try to complete yourself with it. It doesn't work. Completion is it's a remembrance. Is the remembrance of oneness. So when we choose completion, what happens is you stop making people responsible for your peace. You are not You must first be told that you are not incomplete. So now the Course is telling you you're complete. And you must also know and learn that you cannot complete yourself. So examples here of today, of what you can do to choose completion, is you can stop making people responsible for your peace. Number one, you can stop needing validation to know that you're enough or complete or whole. And then you can stop believing that someone or something outside of you holds the key to happiness. So today, take your power back. Because, well, actually, take your... how do I want to put it? The way that we take our power back is to remember that it could never have been given away in the first place. You only have an illusion that you gave it away. So you actually don't have to go do anything. A friend of mine was like, she's getting surgery to get her breast implants out. And she's like, I'm going to finish. And she's like she's like, I'm very spiritual. I'm very connected and all that. And God is telling me what I need to do is I need to take these implants when I take it out and leave it on my ex-husband's doorsteps. I'm like, okay, if that's what Spirit's telling you to do, But is it, right? I mean, that's the way we look at it. It's like, I want to complete. She's like, I want to complete this full circle. And so as long as we see in a space of separation, I need to get back, make a point. Who are you making a point to? Right? Like, that's what this healing, making a point to this person is not going to give me peace. How do you explain someone with someone W? I will wait a couple of minutes for you to finish typing that, and then we will complete today's call. Now I'm curious. Trying to take your power. That's the whole thing. Like, it's not possible unless you give it. And the way that we give it is we react to it. We react with aggression. We react with judgment. So here's two different ways someone can take your power. One, someone is insulting you. Someone is could even go as far as physically hurting you. Right? They're trying to take my power from me. Okay. It's relative to how much peace you can have and how you react, right? So I'm going to just share a quick story here. One way, actually, those might be too extreme. So this is something that we actually do in the trainings is if someone says, Alex, your freaking sweater, stop wearing this Harry Potter hoodie. It looks like shit. Is that trying to take power away from me? It's diminishing me and all of this. However, I could be like, no, it's dope. It's awesome. I don't need to react to it. No power was taken. But if I react to it, and now I'm like, I got to prove myself, I'm going to wear it every day, or I go and say, I'm never wearing this again. Two different ways that you've reacted based on somebody saying something. You've given the power away. But at some point, we're like, no, they took my power, right? But if you didn't know any better, that's fine. But now that you know that you gave it away. When you're young, I was actually playing a video game the other day, and somebody was like, and the kid came on and he was just singing nonstop, and the older guy and the guy in the party goes, dude, your voice sounds like, you're not good at singing, right? Like, it just sounds terrible. Now, this is a kid. The kid doesn't know any better. The kid shuts down, never sings again. But when he gets older, and he's like, man, I learned that people put you down when you're young and you get diminished and this and that. And that's what happened to me. I lost my power. Well, you did lose your power then, even though you chose to diminish yourself. You didn't know any better then. You gave your power away. But now that you know, it's your choice if you want to continue to give it away anymore. Instead, give them my demons that are trying to take me. How about that? Or repeat what they say. Don't react. Instead, give them my demons. That's reacting. It's a reaction right there. Like, non-reacting is the guy when Buddha, when this prince, his whole family left left home because they followed the Buddha. And this guy hated the Buddha so much. And when he finally saw the Buddha in the woods, in the forest, just sitting on a log, he goes over to him and spits on his face. Now, that's looking for a reaction, no? Buddha stands up. The guy thinks there's a confrontation, a fight about to happen. Good, I've been waiting for this. He goes, thank you. Thank you so much for showing me where I still didn't have my peace. And then instantly, the guy became enlightened. As so all those stories go, right? But it's just that moment of this, like, I didn't give my power away. So maybe that story will support. And I kind of, just improvise that story a little bit. But, okay. I will, this is it for today. And I will see you guys, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.